So it seems like recently some VTuber fans have been pointing out some issues that have been going on with a new event that has essentially been announced, right? And it's all to do with VTuber fan events and a maid cafe thing that they've got going on very, very soon. And they're doing it alongside another company called Arcane Maid Cafe. Now, this is a very popular page or whatever. It's followed by quite a few people, right? And well, it seems like some people have been calling this out because it seems like they've got a ton of popular VTubers in here, including the members of Beastiez, Karyu, who we talked about quite a lot, as well as so many more, as well as people like Fuzuki Miki as well, and a lot of other popular VTubers that are collabing with this event, which apparently is set to start on the 20th of March to the 5th of April. And I'm assuming this is, like a VTuber maid cafe thing, which again, it sounds like a good event overall, but it seems like some people have actually been kind of calling out some things going on with this, saying, guys, I know we love VTubers, but please do not financially support this event. Arcane Maid Cafe has done some very bad things and should not be welcomed in this community. My heart goes out to all of the girls, but giving this guy more money is not a good idea. Now, I was interested. I was like, okay, wait, what? Like, what is going on? Because a lot of the time you do get like a lot of false accusations or people getting upset over the smallest of little things, right? Maybe they said a bad tweet one time. They're like, I'm never giving this guy my money ever again. But it seems like there's been some pretty, I guess, concerning concerns that people have brought up, saying, recently Arcane has been purposely scouting and hiring young girls in the Chinese community here because they're unaware of all their past issues. I believe that these practices are extremely predatory. They say, I know with the recent rise in maid culture, many girls find themselves wanting to become maids themselves, but please, everyone, do your research on where you apply, because some of these places do not have your interests at heart. And obviously, people said, not mentioned yet in this thread, but apparently, yeah. So essentially, they're going after one person with this kind of thread here, which apparently, again, this is all very, what do you call it? I don't know what to I don't know what to kind of describe it as. This is like this is a 4chan post, of course. So, we all know what 4chan is like. It's all like kind of allegations. It's all kind of like, we don't know if this is 100% true. And of course, there's probably some people that know more about this situation than others, right? And I think that this isn't exactly the hard proof, but I definitely do think there is a warning that some people have whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, as well as, some people bringing up their own rebuttals to this. So they're saying, yes, we all know why. It's because Anime Los Angeles is working with the most hated guy in the Los Angeles anime community after King Lin, his best friend, by the way, who also was involved in some pretty, drama things. And obviously, apparently they're going after Andrew Kim, aka Drew, who is the CEO of Anifest. And apparently they're known for allowing a known blankist, King Lin and Andrew Kim's best friend, to continue being the photographer and marketing assistant for Arcane Maid Cafe, even after several of his maids came forwards, including some that were minors at the time, and allowed King Lin to continue having access to them via direct message and through events where the Anifest CEO, Andrew Kim, allowed King Lin to continue working at Arcane Cafe because they are best friends. Apparently they got caught removing an artist's watermark to put on a t-shirt. Apparently they threatened a local artist, tried to lie about stealing artwork under miscommunication, publicly and opening made discriminatory statements about avoiding work with people with learning disabilities and autism on Facebook in 2016 using a flowchart, who the Anifest CEO would not hire or let volunteer, actively censoring and silencing critics of Anifest and Arcane Maid Cafe, whether it's through using his bots to send fake reports or threatening actual real-life harm to critics and whistleblowers. And obviously, more and more stuff, right? And again, it is very odd. And again, obviously, as a lot of people have been putting down here below, where did they put it? There was literally a comment right here. People saying the only source is a 4chan post. Really, I know Twitter loves attacking people without actual proof, but I'm going to need to know more than that. And I do think that is 100% where it comes in, right? This is obviously allegations and accusations that people are bringing forward this way. So again, I would be a little bit skeptical about some of this stuff going on. But there definitely is some concern for this event because there seems to be some talk around this kind of Arcane Cafe like company or whatever, and working with VTubers like this, especially whenever there's this stuff kind of floating around. People saying, wait, I'm doing a commission for the girl at the top right. I didn't know they were a popular VTuber. As a pro tip, if you want to do a call out, start naming the person and listing his offenses. Your opening statement here is vague and dismissible noise, which, yeah, I do think is true, right? I think that you need to kind of add in a lot of kind of proof and evidence behind this before you start making huge claims about this by saying, don't go and financially support this, because you're not really providing us with a reason to not financially support this, right? You did obviously add in a post here talking about like a little 4chan thread of them essentially talking about some previous things that might have went on, but again, as we said, that is 4chan. You can't trust this with like a with all your life. Sometimes, yes, I hate to admit it, but sometimes 4chan can be right? But not in every single case, right? Not in every single case, and that's why you need to be skeptical about everything that goes on and some of the accusations that are made. So, yeah, I do think it is a concern. Is it something that, is 100% true and is 100% something that can be, bad? I don't know. And I think it is one of these things where you're going to have to kind of make up your own mind in terms of this kind of stuff, because obviously some people have been talking about the, person here saying they've also tried to sabotage the Light Blue Maid Cafe over the years by mass reporting the Instagram account and some of the maid accounts, as well as review bombing their Yelp listing. Absolutely petty behavior. Said he is still actively doing this to this day, which leads me to believe that he has not learned or changed at all. And again, some people are claiming this, and there's been a lot of murmurs and talks about this, but again, I'm just saying, I don't know if it's 100% true. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, terrible like this, because, of course, there's a lot of people that sometimes go around spreading information that maybe is changed wrong completely or whatever. And I'm not saying that this information is wrong as well. I just kind of wanted to bring the concern to light, essentially, right? Because that is what some people are concerned about. And of course, there are some very, very popular VTubers, right, that are taking part in this that obviously need to be protected as well. And I don't know, for example, like Beastiez, if they've got like some kind of management or whatever that kind of, sorts this kind of stuff out, or if there is some other kind of something or other that has done some research into the event, because we've seen a lot of times VTubers can sign up to things that they don't know much about, right? And it's not necessarily their fault all the time. Sometimes they can be deceived, and that is 100% true. Like we saw with VirtuaCon, for example, the big event that was run by like a bunch of like blockchain people, and they were like using a ton of AI and whatever. And there's people like, big streamers like Vexoria and stuff that were going to get involved with it. But then obviously they all found out that this was, not the best event to be kind of partnering up with, and then everybody left, right? And that shows you that even some of the biggest of VTubers can be fooled by, companies and whatever. But maybe, there could also be the case that I don't know about the inner workings of Arcane Cafe or anything. I don't know whether they have, changed the people since then, because a lot of the kind of posts that they've been posting, especially in regards to the people that have been running it, have been, since 2016. I don't know if, any of this has changed. People saying, while I'm not knowledgeable on Drew, but my friends can attest that he is just as horrible, if not worse. Here's a Google Doc I read about King nearly 10 years or so ago, which of course, a lot of people bringing up this kind of stuff. And I do think there is the concern here, right? And I think there is the kind of, at least the start of people wanting to look into the information and seeing whether this is true or not, whether we should be worried about this kind of stuff. I don't know if anybody's quoted it. Okay, yeah, some people saying, holy, it's bad. If I've seen these mentioned names in Google Docs 10 years ago, imagine my surprise when I see the same names mentioned. They've done some very bad things. Okay, like what? Do you have evidence? You can't accuse someone without saying what they did and not providing evidence. Tell us. I said, I remember seeing a Google Doc years ago about them, so I always avoided them at conventions as a result. And I do think it is this case where they've essentially had this bad representation ever since that Google Doc 10 years ago, right? But I think as well, as time goes on, people forget about it, and I think that's maybe what people are trying to do now, is trying to bring this up. And I think that is, obviously fair enough. If this is all true and this has all happened, I think that's fair enough. And obviously, I think there's a lot of stuff included within this Google Doc, which was made back in 2016, right, covering a lot of horrible things that have apparently gone on, right, including a lot of proof behind this with his friend. apparently, because the person they're going after is the friend of the person that this Google Doc is written about, and apparently they work also at it, or they used to work there. And again, I do think it is pretty concerning, right? It's pretty concerning that there is still these kind of fingerprints around this company, right? And I think it's fair enough that people are concerned, but obviously I think the original post could have been made a little bit better, could have provided the proof, could have provided a lot of things, especially in regards to the actual person, to, I think it's Drew that they said their name was. I would like to see some proof of them doing the bad things, because obviously they've, pulled up a Google Doc of their friend and stuff, which obviously is terrible. But again, I would like to see, this kind of presented to us more concisely, so that you can actually make a decision, rather than just like kind of having to go through like every single Reddit thread to find out exactly what is going on, right? But yeah, I do think it is a pretty interesting situation. Of course, I do think there might be more to come from this, at least from people being concerned, but again, we'll have to see. And of course, a lot of this stuff is still, alleged, and it's all accusations that these people are making right now. So, keep an open mind whenever it comes to this, and you can make up your own decision based on this information. I don't want to accuse people of anything, because I don't think that's fair, right? But it seems like there has been stuff that has happened in the past with this company, and with obviously this person called King Lin, who has been associated with them in the past. I think there is some concern to be drawn there, and some kind of things murmuring in the background. But is it still a problem 10 years later? I don't know. We'll have to see. And of course, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's anything else. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.